welcome back to another episode of GameStack Podcast right here on We Just Love Games Network. I am your co-host Vendertron, and joining me this evening is the lovely Shalene as always. Hello Shalene, how are you?
I
You doing
am.
well?
I'm doing. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's nice to be back on the show, let me tell you that.
You're looking very tan and very fit.
I feel very tanned. I spent the last 2 weeks in sunny Indian Wells at the tennis. Do you like my
Tennis
tennis
paradise, huh?
tennis towel? It was
Tennis
amazing, Shalene.
paradise.
It was 2 full weeks of tennis with all of the world top players, like literally like a stone's throw away on these smaller courts. It was awesome.
That is so
The
fun.
last time we were at the BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells, California, we could only go for like 3 or 4 days. But this time we went for the full 2 weeks, and we got seats to the finals matches, both matches on the last day, and it was totally
Ooh.
awesome. Yeah, it was very good. So I have all
So
my
drop some
BNP.
names of like who did you see? Because I'm sure we have tennis viewers in our audience who will know.
Yeah, so I saw, both world number ones, Novak Djokovic, the top male tennis player, and Iga Swiatek, the top female tennis player. I saw Naomi Osaka, who was at one
Okay.
point world number one. Coco Gauff, who is the world number two. She's pretty popular. She's kind of like the new Serena, Serena Williams. I
Hmm.
saw Venus Williams, her sister, Serena Williams' sister. I
Are
got
the
to
Williamses still playing or are they retired?
Serena Williams retired last year at the US Open in August, but her sister is still playing.
Okay.
Yeah. I pretty much saw all of the top tennis players.
That's
Um,
so
I
fun.
got to see my favorites though. Emma Raducanu, who is um, she lives in England, but she's Romanian and Chinese. She's super beautiful, breathtakingly beautiful, and I love watching her play. I also got to see my favorite Alcaraz, Carlos Alcaraz. I saw him
Nice.
win the final match. He won the men's championship. So yeah, it was an awesome 2 weeks. Holy man, people have a lot of money there. Let me tell you, it's like wild. They're all retired and like they do nothing but just enjoy life there, right? It's such a different world. They they
Let's
they
do
show up
that.
they show up in their Rolls Royces and their Bentleys and their Teslas and their Porsches and their it's just the opulence is it's so extra, Shalene. It's ridiculous.
It
And then
sounds great.
it's
I'm all for it.
hilarious because my partner and I had his grandma's old, like 25-year-old Jaguar. So we would like drive into the parking lot with like fumes coming out the back of the
Oh my
car, and
gosh. I
we
mean,
just
it's still a luxury car.
we
It's
get
still
out
a
and
Jag.
oh, it's great. It's great. So, but yeah, it's if you ever get the chance to go to a tennis tournament, I would recommend going to the one in Indian Wells because it's a smaller tournament. So it's you get to see a lot of the players up close, like really up close. Like I went to Coco Gauff's match, one of her matches. She was playing a singles match on a smaller court in the nighttime, and I was front row. And she like walked over to her coach and was like talking to her coach, and I was sitting like right there, like I was an
That
arm's
is
length
so
away.
fun. You could you hear them?
Yes, I could hear, and it was like really awkward because like nobody wanted to like look and take pictures because they were having like a conversation
A
about
private
like this
conversation.
is how
Yeah.
you win, and I'm just like,
Hmm.
I'm just gonna take a picture quickly while you're not looking because I'm a creeper. Um, yeah, it was a nice getaway. I did work though, like the pretty much the whole
Hmm.
time. Like when I went to the tennis during the day, I was working in the night.
Right.
And when
So
I
it
went
wasn't a
in,
situation where it was a complete vacation.
no,
You
like
just got to work in a
yeah,
more
yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
place.
Somebody actually asked me that because I was watching most of the matches in the second stadium, which is the smaller of the two larger ones.
Hmm.
And I had brought my iPad and I pretty much like worked the whole day while I watched tennis. It was so
Yeah.
stupid. And then there was like, I was in a smaller court and I was sitting next to these people and we were talking about the matches the previous day in Stadium 2, and one of them says, hey, "Oh, are you the guy that was working?" In a stadium of 8,000 people, right? Like I'm like the only
They
guy that's
singled you out over there typing away.
it was so ridiculous. But
I love it. I love it.
yeah, Palm Desert is like 70% Canadian owned. Like it's all Canadians down there. So
Wow.
so when you go to this tournament, everybody wants to talk to everybody. They all want to be your friend. They're all like super approachable, like striking up conversations. It was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways,
Well, last week when we weren't doing a podcast, Archon took me to a book fair.
oh no.
Yes, an
Oh, that's right.
antiquarian book
He
fair.
was sending me pictures of these crazy books that were
Yeah,
like
there were some
rare.
really old and rare books. I saw some books that were worth like $10,000.
Oh
It
my
was,
gosh.
yeah. And I'd be interested in something and I'd pull it down off the shelf and look, and it was like a $600 book, and I would just carefully close it and put it back on the shelf. And but they also had a lot of things that were neat that were not $600. And I spent way too much of my own money and also Archon's money
Ooh,
at this book fair.
yeah.
But we had a great time. We had so much fun. He had to make, I think, 3 trips to the car with piles of
What?
books. Yes, and
Oh my
there was this
gosh.
one lady who was one of the vendors, and she was selling the books, and Archon's trailing behind me, and he's a burly guy, right? He's a big burly fellow,
Yeah.
and he's got his arms just loaded down with books. And this lady actually gave us a tote bag. She's like, "Here, take this tote bag. You need it."
So now you have to get the suspension replaced on the car because all of the books.
Oh my goodness. So we had the best time. It was one of the best days of my life. And that's what we did instead of the podcast last week.
Okay, now do some math for me because you're in this tiny like what 500 square foot apartment.
Maybe 500 square feet.
Shalene, you keep bringing in more books and
Mm-hmm.
no books are coming out.
Okay, so you see this pantry here? This has got all of our extra like canned goods and non-perishable food. And the bottom half of it is now books.
You're going to have to start storing books in the vegetable crisper in the fridge.
And we've got books on top of the dresser in the corner. He put me together a little bookcase, so I have some there next to the dresser, and then of course we've got the bookcase behind.
Right.
Um, and there may or may not be a big Rubbermaid tool tub. Like that you get the big rubber tubs for your tools.
Mhm.
There may or may not be like a 60-gallon tub full of books in a storage locker. May or may not.
Now, if you
Eh,
were to buy a rare edition of a book, which would you say it would be?
Of any book, um, let's see. I might like to have a first edition of Moby Dick. I love that book. It's a great book.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to tell you about the coolest book that I found, though?
Yes.
Okay. I
We're
this
not doing a
book.
show anymore. Just forget it, guys.
we're just not,
This
we're
is
just
Book
catching
Stack.
up. It's been a
Book
long
Stack.
time since we've hung out.
I know, 2 weeks is a
Um,
long time.
okay, so I found this book that is a history of the county that I grew up in,
Oh,
and it
cool.
has it has stories about my family in it. And I was so excited about it. Like I freaked out in the book fair, and Stephen was several stalls away, and
Several books, several bags of
several
books away that you
he was
bought.
several stalls away, and he heard me freaking out over this book. I came to China. But yeah, my family, specific family members, like grandparents that I knew, are
Cool.
mentioned in this book, and I've learned some new history about them that I didn't know before. So
Cool.
it was very, very cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
I've got, so this book here is a first edition signed of To the Ends of the Earth by
Ooh,
William Golding. You know William Golding?
I do. Yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know, he wrote Lord of the
Lord of
Flies.
the Flies. Yeah.
And this is one of my favorite sea trilogies, To the Ends of the Earth. It's absolutely fantastic, but
Hmm.
this is my one splurge in my collection of books that I. But yeah,
That is
I'm
grand.
glad you had a good time at the book fair. But we should talk about a show. You know,
You're
people
right. I'm
people are
so
here
sorry,
for the
listeners,
show.
because we've been doing this for a long time and we haven't started the podcast
Why
yet.
don't you tell them about Oak and Crow Coffee?
Well, Oak and Crow coffee is actually quite delicious, and you can purchase it by visiting oakandcrow.com. And we actually have our own proprietary coffee blend with Oak and Crow called We Just Love Coffee. And for every We Just Love Coffee purchase that is made, $2 from your purchase will be donated to the Children's Miracle Network. And yeah, that's Oak and Crow coffee.
Nice. Yeah, so head on over to oakandcrow.com to get your bag of coffee. Don't forget, also tell your friends about the show. Get them to join live on a Friday afternoon or Friday evening at the end of the week. If you can't join us live, that's okay. We post the show to various podcast platforms so you can listen to it after the fact. And for those of you listening to the show after we have recorded it and posted it, thank you for your continued support. We love you. People can also join the Discord, our chat after dark. If you go to our twitch.tv/we just love games, we just love gums.
We just love gums. That's our dental
That's
offshoot.
when we're old and in our own
Mhm.
like assisted living facilities. It's not going to be we just love games. It's
We just love gums.
um yeah, join the Discord in our about page on our Twitch page. You can find the link to the Discord. Ton of stuff going on in the Discord. We are still patiently waiting for RMS Titanic to give us an update on his job application to the new botanical gardens that he applied
Yeah,
to.
this one didn't work out, but
Oh, it
he's
didn't?
still,
Oh,
yeah,
that's too bad.
he's still looking for something, and we wish him all the best. And if you're out there, just send good vibes to fellow listener the RMS Titanic.
Good juju sending over to RMS
Hmm.
Titanic's way.
Also, if you have any gardening jobs in Australia,
Yeah.
visit our
If you're
Discord.
looking for a gardener in Australia,
Yes,
we know a good one, by the
we've
way.
got a guy.
We've got a guy. Maybe we should talk to Sherry. Yeah. Um and yeah, the Discord's actually been super busy this week. Peer support, as always, very busy. RTZ13 hounding people in the GameStack Marketplace channel to get your spring sale orders in through Steam. I think yesterday was the last day, so if you didn't purchase anything, you missed the boat on that one. Um, but yeah, we've got lots of news to talk about. We've got some gameplay, some stocks, and also we have to catch up on all the screenshots and stories and the screenshots from the GameStack challenge. So let's hop into it with this just in. What do you got, Shalene?
As always, shout out to Joseph Tao. We appreciate his help putting the news together. And I wanted to go ahead and add a congratulations to him. He also got a new job
Oh,
recently. Yeah.
wow. He's
So
not working
congrats,
at the
Joseph.
patent office anymore?
No, he hasn't been at the patent office for a while.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
I'm so out of
There,
date.
you're like three life changes behind for Joseph Tao. But yeah, his new job has made it a little bit more difficult for him to compile the news for us. So we appreciate that he's still making the effort.
Hmm.
And we're going to start off with a story about the human who received the first Neuralink implant.
Shalene, this is crazy. I heard about this. And
Hmm.
I just want to say that it's crazy. Okay, go.
Okay. Quick side note, shout out to Zephyr joining us for the first time live. Hey, Zephyr.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
he's been here this whole time with all the screenshots that come
Yeah,
in.
he's always part of our screenshots and stories, always popping up in Discord, but it's nice to see
Amazing.
you live.
Welcome to the show.
So back to the Neuralink implant. Nolan Arbaugh is a 29-year-old man who is a quadriplegic, and this is according to a PC Gamer article.
Oops.
All right, we should be streaming live.
Sorry. Okay, go.
Uh, Nolan Arbaugh states that this brain implant has allowed him to play chess and Civilization 6, I'm bad at Roman numerals, on his PC using his mind. I'm so freaking lucky to be a part of this, he says. He is the first human to receive the Neuralink, and he said that it's changed his life for the better, allowing him to use a computer with his mind. He did a live stream on Wednesday, and Neuralink introduced this man. He agreed to receive the brain chip back in January, and he's been using the implant to remotely control a mouse cursor on his computer. Arbaugh said that he lost the ability to use his limbs after a freak diving accident about
Mm,
8 years ago. So I'm paralyzed from below the shoulders, he said while sitting in a wheelchair. I have no sensation or movement below my injury. As a result, it's a struggle for him to use a computer, even with today's accessibility controllers. And during this Neuralink stream, he showed that he can now tap Neuralink's implant to play a game of chess on his laptop. The implant works by reading the brain signals from the user and translating them into a Bluetooth based remote command to control an electronic device like a mouse cursor. For this initially involved trying to move his hands, even though he's lost the ability to use them. From there, it just became intuitive for me to start imagining the cursor moving. Basically, it was like using the force on a cursor, and I could get it to move wherever I wanted, he explained, referencing Star Wars. It's crazy. It really is. It is so cool. I'm so freaking lucky to be a part of this, he added during the 9-minute live stream. Every day, it seems like we're learning new stuff. So he's been playing Civilization 6 outside of his Neuralink research sessions, and he recently had an 8-hour gaming session until his implant needed to be recharged. It's awesome. I had basically given up on playing that game, he said, citing the physical toll when trying to play the strategy title before the implant. I have to worry about a lot of things, like getting pressure sores, things like that. Now I can just lie in my bed and play to my heart's content. And his surgery to receive this implant did go very smoothly. It only required 1 day of hospitalization. He does say that the implant hasn't been perfect. We have run into some issues. I don't want people to think this is the end of the journey. There's still a lot of work to be done, but it has already changed my life. So, congratulations to Mr. Arbaugh. And I'm so glad that this has been a positive experience for him, and that um, this research that they're doing will enable it to be improved for people in the future, and the possibilities are just endless. And I'm so glad that he got to have something that was so important to so many of us, video games, that had been removed from his options of things to do, and he has that back. I can't imagine the hole that would leave in my life to lose the ability to play games, and
mm,
the joy in getting it back. I'm so happy. This is such a feel good story, and I'm thrilled for this man. And the possibilities outside of gaming are just incredible. What do you
mm.
think, Bender?
Well, at first I was kind of like, is this story legit? But then I read further and realized that he played Civ for like 6 to 8 hours, and I was like, this has to be real. This has to
Yep,
be accurate, right?
there's a fellow gamer.
So, but I find it a little bit surprising that the first human to receive this implant, this is like a landmark moment, right?
This is
Um,
huge.
he's he's streaming from a phone in his living room. Like I understand the comforts of home and things like that, but why didn't Neuralink make a bigger deal out of this? Um, it just seems kind of odd, doesn't it?
Not to me. Not
No.
to me.
Hmm.
No, it's just um
I think it's really cool that he's regained the ability to do things that he loves. Um, and I mean the health researcher in me has all kinds of different concerns on ethical grounds and things like that. But I'm really mostly curious to see what the long term implications of this procedure has
right.
on him.
And of course
Um,
he is the first human to have this implant. So there could be any number of different situations that arise that we don't know about yet. But
But
right now.
that's a really brave thing
Yes.
to do, right? I think that's one of the ultimate um I don't want to say ultimate sacrifices, but it's like one of the leaps that someone can take for the benefit of humanity that you don't often get that chance to do. So it's a really brave thing to take that on, not knowing what those consequences might be.
It is science in a way that is adventure, if you take my meaning.
Mm-hmm.
It's we tend to think about science as being a little boring.
I
Many
chalk
of
him.
us
I
do.
chalk him
And
up there with the first members of the tribe that ate the bad berries,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
And took one for the
Yes.
team. Except in this case, the outcome is good, obviously.
Yes, he found
Um,
out that yes, blueberries are delicious.
yes,
We could
and
eat
we can
them.
put them in pancakes, and
Hmm.
life is so much better. Yeah,
Yes.
I, I just love that. I just love that this story has elements of games in it. Like,
Yes.
it's such a huge moment
Hmm.
for humanity. And what does he do? Play 6 to 8 hours of Civ.
I love it. Taz in the chat says a pioneer pushing back the boundaries. And I feel like using the word pioneer is the perfect phrasing.
Mm.
This is pioneering work. And I'm so excited that it was linked to video games, so we were able to chat about it.
Yeah, there's a significant amount of knowledge that can be gained from this experience for everybody.
Hmm.
So, hats off to
Yeah.
him for taking that leap.
So going from that to something that's very different, they're going to make a movie, a live action Sims movie. And this is a Hollywood Reporter article by Boris Kitt and Mia Gallupo. And um, Margot Robbie's Lucky Chap production studio is going to be um, running this movie, basically. So, Kate Herron, who is best known for directing season one of Marvel's Loki, is attached to tackle an adaptation of the game. And Herron will also be co writing the screenplay with Bryony Redman. Lucky Chap is the production company run jointly by Margot Robbie, Tom Ackerley, Josie McNamara, and Sophia Kerr, and they are still basking in the glow of producing Barbie. They will produce this feature along with Roy Lee and Miri Yoon of Vertigo Entertainment.
Hmm.
Electronic Arts, the publisher of the game, will also be involved in a creative and producing capacity. So of course, The Sims, we all know what The Sims is. It's a life simulation computer game, and you play as an avatar with changeable personality traits, skills, and relationships. And after the first game was released in 2000, the suburban setting of the franchise was expanded via sequel and expansion packs to include an almost never ending array of settings and tones, such as vacations, show business, dating, high school, even magic and vampires. And there are many different characters. And on some level, this article reports The Sims shares some similar traits with Barbie. The game has no real narrative, and it features characters going about their lives, albeit controlled by gamers. And Barbie, as a toy, also has no narrative, being a doll with endless array of careers controlled by the children who play. And um, I think this is pretty interesting. It feels like a good fit. It feels like a good fit. They may be able to make something really interesting. Um, what you're more of a Sims player than I am, though. What do you think?
Uh, I'm actually surprised that a movie for The Sims is coming this late in the game, but it kind of makes sense. Like, Sims in and of itself as a game is already kind of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just I think that it's just incredibly ironic that it's Margot Robbie spearheading this project because, like, Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's no other universe closer to The Sims than, like, it's just perfect, right?
It really
Um
is, yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a lot of expectations because I'm not sure what to expect. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
be a movie about a family that like burns to
got
death,
in the pool and
burns to
their
death making
ladders all
pancakes, and then
disappeared.
suddenly haunts them in the yard. Like I don't know. Are there going to be heart-shaped hot tubs, and can I romance my neighbor? Like
Amazing.
we'll see. We'll see
Amazing.
what happens.
I saw a picture the other day on social media, and it was a man that was cooking, and his frying pan had caught fire, and he was just standing in front of it like he didn't know what to do. And all I could think was that this is a scene straight out of The Sims.
Yeah.
He's about to die.
I just imagine it's going to be like a 90-minute movie of a fire alarm going off that you don't know how to turn off, because that's what I remember with like
Mm-hmm.
Sims 3 was like the fire alarm would go off and you could just never like you'd have to like delete the item to make
I am low key hoping that it is a horror movie, uh, where the Sims slowly unravel the fact that they are being controlled by a um
that would
like
be
a
very very cool actually.
yes.
Like a psychological thriller of sorts.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Where you go into it and everybody's just normal people living their lives, and then the swimming pool ladders start to disappear and doors start to be moved around, and
Oh,
oh, it's good. It's good.
yeah. I don't know. Like yeah. And then the Reaper comes, you know.
Oh my gosh, that could be terrifying. That could be absolutely terrifying.
Or
What I
like
want to
there's
know is
there's there's like two people in a room and they're like getting up in the morning and they go to leave the room but suddenly the door disappears and they're stuck in there forever.
what I really want to know is if the whole movie is going to be done in Simlish with English subtitles.
This scra is Fredishne and Robinasna and a Sue and a Burr and a Burwati.
Oh my gosh, brilliant.
Like 2 hours of just Simlish would be brilliant. And then like imagine trying to get subtitles for that.
Magnificent.
Maybe it would be
Magnificent.
entirely in Simlish and it's all subtitles. I don't know how
So
I'd feel
good.
about that because I'm not a person that likes subtitles, but
I think it would be great.
gosh, there's
Well,
so many possibilities.
we'll have to wait and see. I hope that it works out well. I feel like video game adaptations are getting to the point where they don't automatically suck. So we can be hopeful. We can be hopeful for this.
Did you watch Barbie?
I haven't seen Barbie yet. I really need to watch
Okay,
it.
okay.
Yeah, I've heard so much about it.
I mean,
But
it wasn't all that it was hyped up to be.
mhm,
It was clever at times, but it's not something I would ever watch again.
yeah,
So we'll see.
I need to make some time to watch it. GTA 6, according to this GameSpot article, could be the most important game release in the industry's history, which seems like a bold statement.
Man,
But
they're really
it,
starting that hype train early, aren't
yeah,
they?
yeah. Um, but this article written by Haley Williams states that the games industry is not in the best shape at the moment, with all the layoffs and studio closures and game cancellations. And there really aren't a ton of major titles on the way right now to shore up sales. And in an interview with GamesIndustry.biz, industry analyst Matt Piscatella has stated that GTA 6 might end up being incredibly important for the industry at large. Piscatella, who works for the tracking firm Circana, says that 2024 isn't looking great for the industry, with overall spending expected to dip by anywhere from 2 to 10%, depending on how optimistic you are. There's so much uncertainty when you look at the sales data to look or to project this year, he said. There's uncertainty around the hardware, there's uncertainty around the content. Who the hell's making the games? And this uncertainty is underscored by the year's two biggest hits so far this year, Pal World and Helldivers 2, neither of which were expected to be big hits. And despite their unexpected success, Piscatella says the industry would need another game at a similar level of success for the overall sales to match the numbers, driven by last year's blockbuster Hogwarts Legacy. And when it comes to comparable titles, 2024 is so far looking a little thin, with many of the industry's most highly anticipated releases not due out until 2025 at the latest. The uncertainty level this year is probably the highest I can recall, with the uncertainty of what's going to get us to the finish line, because we don't have those big games announced that we know, he said. When people are saying our slate's going to be a little light this year, that's not something that usually happens. And while this year is looking a little rough, Piscatella is optimistic about the future, with one 2025 release already set to be massive, Grand Theft Auto 6. We're going to get a renewed batch of interest with GTA 6 in particular, he explains. There's probably never been a more important thing to ever release in the industry, so no pressure. I feel like he's hyping up the importance of GTA 6 in particular a little too much. But I do understand the uncertainty with this year. There has been it's been a rough year for games so far.
Yeah, but it hasn't been a rough year for Rockstar.
Not at all.
I
Not at
mean,
all.
we're talking billions and billions of dollars in revenue from their previous GTA parts,
Mm-hmm.
editions, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
So Rockstar is not hurting, and they certainly have had enough time and resources to put together a game to the caliber that we would hope it would be.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the way things have been going with video games lately, I feel like people are going to go and play it and then say, we waited 10 years for this.
Right.
Um, and that's the pessimistic side of me. The optimistic side of me is thinking that, yeah, they've had the resources this whole time, and it's not going to flop. It's actually going to be super massive. But to be successful, it has to be huge. Like the map and the content has to be so ginormous and carefully curated, not predictive algorithms or
Yes, absolutely.
artificially generated
It has to
parts
be
of the map.
bespoke.
It
It
has
needs
to
to be
be
bespoke.
entirely hand placed.
Mm-hmm.
Every single square inch of the map has to be designed by a human. Um, so I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I mean, it's a AAA game. I would expect it to be great. And I think that Rockstar is leagues above Bethesda in terms of AAA content. Having played their previous versions of GTA and Red Dead Redemption, I think that those games are absolutely fantastic. So I hope. I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic.
I think that video game hype in general has gotten unreasonable and unsustainable, and people are expecting the impossible from games now. And I think that Starfield is a perfect example of that. The hype for Starfield was out of control. And when it came out and it was a video game, people seemed disappointed. But it was a pretty good video game by all accounts. It was not a me game. But it was for lots of people.
I think I feel like they would have more success if they didn't say anything about it, and then they were just
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, by the way, it's going to be released this Friday."
I agree. That
People
is
would be like, "What?
yes.
Oh my god!" Like it would
I
be
think that would be the
crazy.
most baller move that any game studio could make at this point, especially with known franchises.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give us years of waiting for it and thinking about it and
Yeah.
between the announcement and the release. Just say, hey guys, you remember those Fallout games you used to like? For example, here's another one.
Yep.
Here you go. Go nuts.
Let us form our own opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Don't apologize and don't explain. Right?
Absolutely.
It is what it is when
Absolutely.
you get it, and you should be grateful that we worked this
Mm-hmm.
hard to bring it to
Mm-hmm.
you. Yeah.
Because I do think that people expect video games to change their dang lives. And at the end of the day, it is a video game. And
Yeah. I mean,
there's only so much that can be done with the technology that we have. So,
yeah, like I said, I think GTA 6 is going to be a very highly anticipated
mhm,
because it's got
yeah,
big shoes to fill. GTA 5 was huge. It was a huge
it
deal.
was. Yeah,
GTA 4 was a huge deal.
it was.
So, and Vice City and like those are the games that made us.
People talk about like, oh yeah, I've got 86 copies of Skyrim, but GTA 5, man, I may have as many copies of GTA 5 as I do of Skyrim. And
Now, Cyberpunk, on the other hand, is an example of how things can go wrong at the start.
mhm.
And I think that, this is a game that's it was a grower, not a shower. And it took some time to fully get to a point where people were like, okay, this is good, um but then again, perception is everything. Like,
Mhm.
Rick played it at the start and he was like, this is the best
He
game
loved
I've
it
ever played
immediately.
in my
Mhm.
life. It's the best game that's ever been made. And I was I was like, meh,
I
well.
feel like the first like 20 hours of Rick's life with any video game, it's the best video game.
Baldur's
And
Gate,
then yeah,
Valheim,
then
Elden
later on
Ring,
he starts
Cyberpunk.
to get critical. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
Anyways,
so funny.
we love you, Rick. But
Speaking of Baldur's Gate, Larian Studios won't be making any more of those, according to this Polygon article by Carly Bellocci. Now that Baldur's Gate 3 has been a huge success, both critically and financially, people are looking forward to what's next from developer Larian Studios.
hmm.
And according to the studio's founder, Sven Vinkel, the future does not lie with the Baldur's Gate franchise or Dungeons and Dragons as a whole. And this is fascinating to me. I fully expected them to be cranking away at DLC for this game. During a talk at the Game Developers Conference on Thursday, spotted by IGN and confirmed by Polygon in a video on the official conference TikTok, Vinky said that Larian won't be working on any DLC expansions or a sequel for the game. It will be handing the IP back to Wizards of the Coast and moving on to unrelated projects. And here's a quote: Baldur's Gate 3 will always have a warm spot in our hearts. We'll forever be proud of it, but we're not going to continue it. We're not going to make new expansions, which everybody is expecting us to do. We're not going to make Baldur's Gate 4, which everybody is expecting us to do. We're going to move on. We're going to move away from D&D, and we're going to start making a new thing, he said. And Michael Dowse, the director of publishing at Larian, confirmed this news in a post on the platform formerly known as Twitter. Had a lot of time to reflect on this incredible adventure, as everyone has, and I can't explain how excited I am for the next. Hope you join us for that. And Vinky spoke a little bit more in depth about the decision with GameSpot. He explained that he initially wanted to make more Baldur's Gate, but decided against it. That's not what we were made for, Vinky said. That's literally the opposite of what Larian is about. We want to do big, new things. We don't want to rehash the thing that we've done already. And of course, this doesn't mean that Larian is abandoning Baldur's Gate 3 altogether. Just last month, they announced that the team would be working on a cross-platform plan for mod support, with implementation still many months away. So they will continue to support this game. And I actually, as much as Baldur's Gate 3 has been beloved, I think this is a good thing. I think it's a very good thing to let Larian move on and to do projects that they're passionate about instead of just having to grind away at something they feel done with. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I they did an amazing, amazing job with Baldur's Gate 3. And I would rather they did something that brought them joy. So let's wait and see what they come out with next. And I hope that it is just as wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that I'm not necessarily sure if what was the other studio that they were involved with? I forgot the name now.
Uh, I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Do you mean Wizards of the Coast?
Yes,
They're
thank you.
they're the company that owns D&D.
Yeah. I don't think that they were necessarily in it for making more money on publishing per se. Um, but I think basically I think what probably happened was they were like, if you want to use more of like IP than what we already have allowed, then you need to add like in-game store and microtransactions and battle passes and things like that. And it wouldn't be surprising that that's part of the reason why maybe they are pulling away. But I agree with you. I think that it's actually kind of a good thing because,
Mm-hmm.
if they go back to creating their own worlds and it was always going to be this way, then fair enough, right?
Yeah.
And if people could have had a Baldur's Gate 4, but it just inevitably got messed up by corporate greed, um, we don't want that either.
Yeah.
So, like, whatever. Good job, Larian.
So let this be a beautiful thing, and let it exist on its own. And I just really, I don't know, I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And con- speaking of corporate greed, Capcom has addressed the Dragon's Dogma 2 Steam backlash by saying that they sincerely apologize for any inconvenience. This is an IGN article by Wesley Yin Poole. And Dragon's Dogma there's a lot of debate happening right now about this game. It is by all reports an excellent RPG, but also there is a furor about the microtransactions on this one. The game has 21 separate microtransactions available day one, ranging in
Jesus.
price from 99 cents to 4.99, and offerings include an explorer's camping kit for 2.99, a 99-cent jail key that lets you escape from jail but breaks after a single use, a warp location marker that costs 2.99, 99 cents wake stones that restore the dead to life. And these are very, very controversial, not just for the sheer number that are available, but because they make parts of the game that were deliberately designed to challenge players in certain ways, either easier, less frustrating, or quicker. And players have pointed out that these microtransactions help with fast travel, which is restricted in Dragon's Dogma 2.
What?
Players require expensive and rare fairy stones to teleport to a designated port crystals. A port crystal, which costs $2.99 as a microtransaction, can be set to a destination of your choice. Then you use a fairy stone to transport you to the port crystal's location. And that's just one example. I did want to say that we had some commentary in the, let me find it here. Where was it? Just under general gaming. In our Discord, there was some commentary from Tim, who says that fast travel was initially very difficult in the first game, and a player had to make it to a place and then drop a consumable item, allowing them to recall to that location, but you could only do it once. And the emphasis was exploration in that original release. The game did not hold your hand at all. And he goes on to discuss quite a bit of things about the game. And he does recommend the first one very strongly, by the way. And so, because of this controversy with the microtransactions, Dragon's Dogma 2, which is in other respects a very highly regarded game, currently reviewing at mixed reviews on Valve's Steam. And there have also been some performance problems, even on powerful PCs, with a frame rate being a particular issue. And in a message addressing this to players, Capcom has said, "We would like to update you on the status of the following items, about which we have received numerous comments from the community. To all those looking forward to the game, we sincerely apologize for any inconvenience." And they listed all of the items that can be obtained in-game or as paid DLC items. And by doing so, they are making the point that these items can be obtained through normal gameplay. Um, the
I'm
look
just
on your face right
I'm
now.
just gonna go out on a limb here and say that this all started with Bethesda selling a one piece of armor for a horse back in 2006.
You blame the horse armor?
Yeah, it's Bethesda.
How dare they? How dare they?
But that's ridiculous. Paying fast travel, paying
I
for
agree.
keys that just break once you get through the door, like that's it's
Yeah.
you're paying for a
The game
serve
to play itself.
you're
You're
pay
playing.
you're paying for a service in a game as part of games as a service.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't like it.
that's stupid. It's so dumb.
I
It's like people at the tennis paying extra for their seats so they don't have to sit in the sun.
wow. Wow. God of Radio in the chat. Horse armor has much to answer for.
Yeah.
I wonder who in particular was responsible for horse armor. I would like to find out so that we can just call them and ask them why.
In
Have them
Todd,
on the show.
in Todd we trust.
Yes. Todd, help us. But let's talk about a game that has not caused problems, a game that has not been problematic really at all. Stardew Valley.
Oh yeah.
Stardew Valley's 1.6 update is out, and there are some huge updates and changes. And these updates have made me very much want to play Stardew Valley. I've played a bit in the past. I've got a bit of Stardew experience, but I I feel like this game could really destroy my life. This is a
Yeah.
Wired article by by Nina Farrell. And Nina states that this major update has an insane amount of new content touching every area of the game, from new menus and DIYs to a new farm
Oops.
layout, new crops, and the ability to have multiple pets and play with 7 friends at once. It's enough updates to make the game feel fresh, but it isn't so new that you can't ease back into a beloved farm and toil away. It is
Nice.
important to note that the free update is currently available for PC only, and the update will come to mobile and consoles later on. So if you're not a PC player, there's no changed gameplay yet. You'll be able to just play normally while you are waiting for this update to show up. And it is available for purchase, the game on PC for $15. $15. And you can get all the old content and also this new content. And this just, it's great. It's great.
I feel like Stardew is like the Dolly Parton of video games. You know, it's just so wholesome and happy and everybody loves it. There's nothing bad about it and it's just there warming our hearts always. Mhm.
So there is a new farm layout called ranch mode. And this adds Meadowlands Farm, which is a grass and animal focused design for ranchers. Um, I'm just laughing at chat. I'm sorry. Alex in chat says, "No, don't make me get back into Stardew. I do not have enough time to get lost in the sauce."
Speaking of getting lost in the sauce, with this new update, you can now chug an entire jar of mayonnaise, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
Why? Why
Because
would you do that?
why wouldn't you chug jars of mayonnaise? I do it all the time. Just kidding.
Okay. I just had to leave that silence. But the new ranch grows a special blue grass that the game's creator Eric Barone says animals will love. It can raise animals' hearts faster, improving the eggs and milk that they give you. Less farming land available on this layout, and a few changes to the initial quests. And you start with 2 chickens and no parsnip seeds, which is a bit of a slower path to wealth. But it's a very fun way to do something different. There are new crops, and the 4 new crops, there are one for each season. You can find them in different ways. And there's a new prize machine in the mayor's house. You can get a prize ticket that will give you one of the crops. The new crops are carrots for spring, summer squash for summer, broccoli for fall, and powder melon in the winter. And these can be used in the game's main quest as well. And now there are hot tabs and powers. So this added 2 more tabs to the player menu area. Animals, special items, and powers. The animals tab is similar to the social tab. And it lets you see the heart status of each of your animals and how close you are to your 5 heart goal. I'm going to skim over a little bit of this so that we can get through it all. Packed calendar. The new books of power come from a new calendar event, the bi-monthly bookseller. They added a bookseller. I want the bookseller. The bookseller is one of a handful of new additions to the calendar, and they show up twice a month at the Joja Mart to sell a small list of books that offer special boosts. And there are also a new festival and 2 mini festivals. And there are 2 fishing-related events in summer and winter, and a desert festival in the spring. You can't access the desert festival until after the Bucks is fixed, so year 2. You can now play with 8 people instead of 4. So,
Wow, that's a big thing.
yes.
That's a big thing.
The author says that she had 6 friends play it with her, and they found it to be a very smooth experience and that it worked really, really well. Um,
Stardew Valley is better with friends. It really is.
There are some more surprises to find as well. We're not going to spoil anything. Well, we are actually, because our next article is a light spoiler, but only if you're a cheater, pumpkin eater. And Stardew Valley's 1.6 update introduces a sinister cutscene that punishes players who have cheated the game. This is an IGN article by Anthony Wood. And if you glitch your way to an end game region of the map, you can experience this. So to get a perfection meter on your playthrough is very, very difficult. It's very time consuming, very, very difficult, takes a lot of time or an effort. Or you can skip all that effort and just glitch yourself out of bonds and navigate to the end game section of the map. But the creator is aware of this dirty trick, and instead of patching out the exploit, he added a cutscene to the game, which will punish you for accessing the summit without achieving perfection.
Brilliant.
And it's really funny. It is available here to see on IGN. You come face to face with Mr. Key, a mysterious character who operates the casino in the Calico Desert. And he says, well, 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 look who made it to the summit. Thought you were really clever, didn't you? And he calls you despicable. And the player then awakes in the hospital, being told that there had to be emergency surgery after they were found unconscious and battered. And I think that is just so clever. That's a really, really clever way um, to address an exploit instead of just patching it out. I think that's great.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I love it. That's it for the news.
Mm. I love Stardew. I've only played it for a short time, but the time that I did spend playing it was so much fun. It's
Mm-hmm.
actually got some of the hardest in-game video fishing.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
in video game
In-game fishing.
in-game fishing. Thank you for the English. But it's super fun. I
So speaking of video game fishing, currently on free on Epic Games is Call of the Wild: The Angler, which is
oh
the fishing version of the
part
Call of the
yeah.
Wild games.
Oh, that's
So
great. I'll have to tell Daddy-O about that. If he's
yeah.
listening, he'll know. Actually, he probably already knows, but
Mm-hmm.
cool. What else you
That's it.
got?
That's all. That's it.
Oh,
That's all I
that's the
got.
news.
That's the news.
That's it. That's everything. Oh, okay. Let's talk about the stacks. Really behind on that B-roll tonight. So these prices are in comparison to 2 weeks ago, but things have not changed all that much, except my 10-cent stock price, which is actually incorrect again. Sony closed out at 88.62, down 60 cents. Up 60 cents. Microsoft at 428.74, up $13.24. Nintendo dropped 20 cents to 13.84. Take Two up $2.12 at 152.46. EA closed out $9.09 lower than 2 weeks ago at 131.70, and Roblox Corp closed out $4 down, $4.06 at 37.26. That is the stocks in the video game industry for you. And we also want to report that video game sales in the US for the month of February have increased by 2%. So that's probably partially explains some of the fluctuation in stock prices as well, and large increases in larger companies like Microsoft and EA. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything on the mail
You've got
stack?
mail.
We do have a new mail from RTZ, who is the real MVP. And RTZ says, hey, hey, what new games have you picked up recently that you would recommend others to play? Time for some short reviews. Mine is in screenshots and stories. Bye.
Okay.
And Vodka Knockers says, I've been spending a ridiculous amount of freedom and democracy lately in Helldivers too. Those orbital strikes and bombing runs scratch an itch I didn't know I had. And let's see here. That is the only community response we have so far. Do you have any recent recommendations for us?
What was the question again?
Any games that you've picked up recently that you would recommend for others to play?
Oh, yes, Citizen Sleeper.
Nice.
Yeah, that would be my recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Cat and Ghostly Road, which is that
Oh,
little adventure
yes.
game. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have gotten to enjoy that more and more the more I play, and we'll talk about that a little more when
Mm-hmm.
we get to our gameplay. But thank you for that mail, RTZ. And if you too at home would like to submit something for the mail stack, how would the people do it, Bender?
You can send us an email at info@wejustlovegames. That is usually by carrier pigeon, so we don't get it that quickly. If you would like to submit faster letters, you could post in the Mailstack channel in our Discord, and that's usually real time. So yeah, just pop your message in there. Doesn't have to be a question. It could be just something that you're playing that happened that
Yeah, talk to us.
yeah. Tell us about your gaming. We'd love to hear it.
Fantabulous.
People did tell us about their gaming though, Shalene.
Did they?
Yes, it is that time again. And we're gonna start off with the GameStack challenge, which, if you recall, the GameStack challenge 2 weeks ago was to submit your screenshot of a video game hat that you think Shalene will love.
And
And
I must say, I think this is the best challenge we've ever had. And I have my own challenge submission. If you could just wait for 1 second, I'm just gonna step out of the frame. So just give me.
Okay. In the meantime, we should also be thinking about our next challenge, which I think that we should we'll gear it towards me. So maybe something like take a picture of a robot in video game, your favorite in-game robot, or
Favorite video
something.
game robot is a good one.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, you got your hat.
Yes, mine is this first Recon beret that Archon made for me. Of course, it doesn't fit over my headset, but
I'd really like my beret back now, please.
yes. Isn't it good? Just
I want to see the
uh
patch. Can I see the patch?
yes.
Oh,
NCR
NCR
first
Recon.
recon, the last thing you never see.
Amazing.
Yes.
That
So
is
this is
so good.
my entry of hats that bring me joy.
That's really good. Do you wear that to like work?
I haven't. I haven't worn it to work, but it does fit and it does look cute.
Cute. Okay, so screenshots, B-roll. Here we go. So this first screenshot, oh my gosh, I'm not even ready.
This
Um,
is so good.
this is from Frankie. She says, I generally do not care for hats, so I rarely use them, but they are the fanciest and the funniest of my ESO hats. These are undyed. You can change the colors of them as well.
My
And
favorite one is the cauldron.
yeah, so she's got four pictures of four different hats. The one on the top left is like
A bird's
it's
nest.
like a bird's nest or something, yeah. And then next to that is a cauldron, basically just a cauldron upside down.
So good.
And then she's got like a spirally sort of wizard's hat, and then she's
Mm-hmm.
got sort of like a musketeer's hat next to that with
Big
feathers
fancy
coming out of it.
feathers.
Yes, very nice, very nice. She also submitted some more hats. Um,
Oh, these are
and
gorgeous.
these
Look
are
at
all
these.
brilliant. So from left to right, top row, she's got it's sort of like a scarfed hat with coins and beadwork. Looks very good. And then sort of like a sultan's hat wrap with a large
Mm-hmm.
peacock feather coming out of it. Then after that, she's got a dragon helmet, which looks really good. And then she's got a knight's helmet, but then it's wrapped in like black bear skin. It's got like
Yeah,
the
it's
black
like a
bear
bear
head.
helmet. Yeah.
Yeah. Um and then left to right on the bottom row, a similar hat with beadwork and coins. Looks very fancy. One next to that is sort of like a Saharan hat with feathers, and it's got this wispy front. And then a witch's hat, and next to that, a polar bear in a knight's armor. Looks very
These are
good.
so good.
So good. Excellent submission. And I also appreciate the work that she put in putting multiple images in one
Mm-hmm.
image. Very good, Frankie. This hat from RTZ13, my challenge submission, comes to you from my Pointy Swords and Glorious Hats game, Greedfall. And
Lovely.
we have seen pictures of Greedfall previously on the show. We love them. They're very good. This
I also
one,
really like this photo. I think this is a
yes.
great screenshot. The composition here
Tell the
is
people.
great. Okay, so he's standing in an alleyway and there is a lot of bright light at the end of the alleyway, like he's walking out into this well-lit square. But the character himself has his back to the camera and is shadowed. So it's got this very mysterious feel. And of course, it's just a very fabulous hat with one side of the brim turned up. Really cute.
Yeah, it looks really good. And here's a follow up of the hat on
Ooh,
his very handsome character.
love it.
Mm-hmm. Looks good. This is a cyberpunk photo, and I love this photo. I think this is a great in-game video
This
photo.
doesn't look like a screenshot. It
It
looks
doesn't
like a
even look
smiling human
right,
being.
and I think maybe that should be our next challenge. In-game photographer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I think
don't.
that
Yeah.
like be a photographer. This is also from RTZ13, and it is his character in Cyberpunk, and he's wearing a very smart-looking fedora. It's very nice. Looks good. Then we also have this one. He joked and said that this one is from Animal Crossing, but it's I don't even know where this
It's
is from.
Doom. This
Is
is the
it
Doom
Doom?
guy
Oh,
helmet. Yeah.
great.
The joke is because Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing New Horizon released on the same day.
Oh,
Yeah, so it was all the memes where Doom guy and Isabel were besties.
oh, okay, okay.
Hmm.
And then this glorious screenshot from
Ooh.
Suliore. Here is Asterion from Baldur's Gate 3. In my game, he has been a ranged character. So when I found this outfit with the Robin Hood style hat, I
I
just
love it.
had to have him in it.
I love
It's
it.
so good. This is the pointiest of hats, let me tell you. That front brim, I can see the rain pouring off of it,
You
Shalene.
can put somebody's eye out with
You
that
could
thing.
put your glass, your water bottle
Hmm.
underneath that hat when it's raining and just fill it
Hmm.
up. Like,
Yes. So good.
I like that it's also encrusted in gems.
Same.
Yeah, it's really nice. This screenshot from Alex. This is Arizona Sunshine in VR, and she is wearing the Doctor mask.
Plague Doctor masks are a classic.
And then also a screenshot that we have seen before and is making the rounds on the show once again.
Zephyr's ridiculous sombrero.
It's so
It's
ridiculous.
ludicrous.
Like, I think I need to go back through all the screenshots and stories from all the episodes for our 200th episode, and
See how many times this has popped
we
up.
need to go through the highlights of the screenshots and stories. Yeah, so good. Oops.
So good.
Okay, and then this one from Vod Knockers, planning how to spread liberty on the bridge of my ship, the
Hmm.
hammer of patriotism, whilst wearing the newest helmet I'm quite fond of.
Very nice.
Very good. And this one from Nethys Nile, I love this. She
This
says,
delighted me.
she said, do in-game ones, just in-game ones, or will this one also suffice? And she submitted a screenshot of her collection of Pip-Boys and Fallout, Nuka-Cola, Thirst Sapper, and then sitting in between, wedged in between those, is a Vault Tech birthday hat. It's so good.
I love it. I love it.
The Vault Tech birthday hat is one of the first items that you get in Fallout 4, isn't it?
Fallout 76.
Fallout 76? Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Also in New Vegas, too,
Do you? Do you get a party hat?
because it's your birthday.
No, that's Fallout 3 that it's your birthday.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
And the Mr. Gutsy cuts the cake and it splatters
Yeah, that's
everywhere?
Fallout 3.
Fallout 3, Fallout 3.
Yeah.
Sorry. Brilliant. Oh, man, Fallout 3 was so good.
It was. We should play Fallout 3.
I know. But wait, there's more. Now we just have regular screenshots.
Ooh. What is this? Is this Elden Ring?
This is from Tim Twig, and I assume that it
Ooh,
is
probably ESO.
ESO or maybe, yeah, it's probably ESO. This is a great screenshot. He's got some sort of radio tower in the background, but to the left up on this hill are these sort of like, it's like a monument, like a gate
Mm-hmm.
or something. Looks really good.
Looks cool.
This screenshot of an observatory in the background from the beach looks
Mm-hmm.
really nice. Very.
That's got to be some kind of Dwemer
Mhm.
construction.
And
Very
this one of
nice.
a city off in the distance and wisps of, I don't know, northern lights maybe in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, something like that. And this last one, beautiful, of an angel
Wow.
statue, and she's got her hands to her face like she's crying, in front of some sort of, I don't know, epitaph or something. Yeah.
Neat. Those are cool screenshots, Tim.
Then we have a collection of screenshots from RTZ13, and this goes with his mail stack submission. He says, I got some screenshots to share from this little game I recently spent quite some time with. It's called Tinykin, where
This looks so cute.
you're a researcher from the future who looks into humanity's origins and ends up shrunk in a house stuck in 1991. It's a joyful collectathon where you have discussions with the resident bugs, help arranging a rave in the bathtub for silverfish.
Oh
You
my
col-
goodness.
you collect pollen from the bees and use these little fellas called Tinykin to help you achieve your platforming desires.
So cute.
So this first picture of presumably his character and a Tinykin, it says, nowadays, I'm the one teaching. I'm Millodane, an archaeologist and researcher in the most prestigious university in the world. And this next picture is, it's so cute. It's of him on standing on piano
Mm.
keys, and there's all these little like alien dudes. Are these also Tinykins? I don't
I
know.
think so. This reminds me a lot of Pikmin.
Yes, it does. It does, doesn't it? And this one of this is the rave in the
The rave in
bathtub.
the bathtub?
There's like a laser shining into like a soap dish or something that's suspended in air, and it's like creating all these beams, and then there's tiny little fireworks, and they have glow sticks and
There's
it's
bubbles everywhere.
bubbles, and oh, so good. So good.
That looks like a fun time.
It's very cute. And then this one gives me Toy Story vibes of the
Yes.
alien
The
dudes.
claw.
Yeah, the
I have
claw.
been chosen.
So good. Also, this one very adorable with the little candle and the matchstick beds. The little champagne cork side tables. It's adorable. I've got the borrowers vibes now.
Extremely precious.
Also, this
Oh, why
one,
are they all crying?
I
Make
don't
them
know why
stop
they're crying, but
crying.
he's holding up a bone, and in the background there looks to be some sort of like church or building.
I feel like that's a kid's play for it.
Yeah, it looks really interesting. I don't know. And then here a screenshot of the menu, which is also very cute. And this one of him sitting in front of a radio with, or like an MP3 player with headphones, and he's listening to music. Very cute. And this last image of a snail with a
Oh,
candle on its back. Very cute. Great screenshots. That looks like a fun game.
it does.
A couple more from VOD. These are from Helldrivers 2, Abolishing Bug Tyranny with a Nuclear Missile, he says. And basically, he is launching a missile that's coming out of the ground, and he's got his hands open, and he's like, this is the best.
Way to spread democracy, friend.
Yep. And then the follow up picture is the missile doing its job off in the distance.
Kablooey.
Yep. Kablooey. Kablamo. Joshy submitted some photos. Thank you for doing that as well. These are from
I think
also
these are also
Helldiver. Yeah.
Helldivers.
So it's a picture of him, and off in the distance, there's a huge planet in the background with some rings, and it's actually quite beautiful. He looks like he's standing over some sort of valley or something like that. Looks
Mm-hmm.
really good.
I
And
like his
this
cape.
one, where he's standing off in the distance, is a volcano and it's erupting. And he's sort of like in this jungle, it looks like. It looks really
Lots of
good.
purple.
Mm-hmm. And a couple final photos. This one from Alex. She says, "My mom, look at this perfect, beautiful creation I made." Me? No, she says. What she was talking about was her warlock portal. And yes, that is Alex crying in the background, she says. And so there's all these pictures of these portals, and then there's this big warlock portal, and it looks
That's great.
amazing. Yeah. And then we have this one from Ash Deezy. Been playing Helldivers 2 on PS5. Such a fun game. It's because you can pick it up for 30 or 40 minutes at a time with friends, and it isn't crazy time commitment like games like Destiny 2 are. The
Nice. I
hug
love to hear that.
the hug emoji is a must. Just hit level 25 yesterday to unlock the mech, which was recently released after the community liberated a planet that held the mech technology. So, looks very good. They're standing on their ship overlooking a planet, bunch of other ships in the background, very Star Warsy. And I think this is the picture of the day for me, Shalene. This is from Tim Twig. He says, "The din of the rainforest during a calm rain, a distant thunderclap crawls by. Frogs
Wow.
echo across the water. Lightning flashes, and Elden Root can be seen in the distance." Presumably, this is Elder Scrolls
I would
Online?
think so. I would think so. Tim is pretty bad about not labeling his game.
Yeah,
So please label your games, Tim. We assume this is ESO,
yeah.
but it's an amazing screenshot, and I appreciate the ambiance given by the story.
It's an ultra wide and it looks very good.
Beautiful.
And then the last two from Taz. He says, "It is with sad news that we have to report that the stalwart defender of the SS GameStack, known as Lil Red, has fallen its protecting abilities in the outpost." I don't know what that meant. I think
It's fallen. It was protecting the
so.
SS game
Basically,
stack, and
it's on
it is,
fire. It is on
yeah.
fire, and it's on the ground, and it looks like it's really in bad shape. Yeah,
RIP in pieces, Little Red.
yeah. So that is our screenshots and stories. If you want to submit a screenshot or story, you can submit that to the screenshots and stories channel. And what is our GameStack challenge for next week's
Our
show?
GameStack challenge for next week's show is one that's vendor centered. So it is to show us your favorite in-game robot.
Oh yeah, favorite in-game robot. I forgot. Yeah, so submit those into the GameStack challenge channel, and yeah, look forward to that.
Indeed.
Anyways, let's talk about what we've been playing. So, Shalene, remember when I was telling you that I was going to embark on this journey of collecting all 900 Korok seeds in Zelda
I
Breath of the
do. I thought
Wild?
you were a crazy man.
I'm done.
All 900?
All 900 done.
I am so impressed.
So I got to like 886, and that was like the end of the list of the Korok seeds. And I'm like, oh no, there's 14 that I have to get.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, no. And then I realized that there was 3 seeds that I had actually previously given to Hestu, which left me with 11 seeds that I still had to get.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had to embark on the long journey of reviewing all 900 Korok seeds across the map to figure out which ones I had missed going through the list. And this has been like a 2-month project, I would say. Maybe a month and a half? I don't know.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah. And of course, thank you. I'd like to thank my partner for for enduring me during this difficult period of my life. Um, I was searching for Korok seeds like late at night in California in between tennis matches. Yeah, the Korok seeds were basically taking over my life. But I did find them all. I did find the last few, and I went to Hestu and I gave him all the Korok seeds, and it was the best. It was so good.
So what happens? Hestu is the best do. And
Hestu
what
is the best
happened?
do. I don't remember. He gave me,
Did he give you something?
yeah, he gave me the mask, right? No. What does he
No.
give me?
He gave you a golden poop.
Oh, that's right. He
A
gives me.
giant golden
I
dookie.
forgot. It's a golden turd. It
Mm-hmm.
it is Hestu poop.
Mm-hmm.
That is what he gives you for doing the 900 Quark. It was terrible. It's like
Yes.
I was like, you shit. You gave me shit. You gave me your poop. It's fine. It's fine. Um, then I went back to the completionist checklist because I now have the Breath of the Wild companion app on my iPad, which is
Ooh.
probably something that I should have used when I started this journey of the Korok seeds, but now I'm trying to finish the side quests. And so I've got 60, I think, 60 side quests done, and
That's a lot.
there's 90 side quests. So I've
Okay.
got about 30 to do. Um but I think it's 75 in the base game, and then there's like 15 or so in the DLC.
Okay.
So, and I still have to purchase the DLC and do the DLC as
Mm-hmm.
well. So I'm making my way through the side quests. I know that the main quests are done. I some of the other things that I have to do on the completionist list are all of the dogs. I've got to visit all the dogs at all the stables because
Mm-hmm.
they lead you to treasures. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things on the list is get all the treasures. Um, and then all of the horse armor. I still have to get that. I think I've gotten pretty much all of the actual armor,
Mm-hmm.
the body armor, and I've expanded all of my inventory. So it's coming along. It's just, yeah, I don't know.
I'm impressed that you're doing the completionist
My
route.
God, it's so much.
Very cool.
And like so my partner gifted me Tears of the Kingdom for my birthday, and he's all mad because
You haven't played it.
I haven't played it yet because I'm trying to finish Breath of the Wild before I. I'm like, you don't understand. There's 900 Korok seeds, and you know how many Korok seeds there are in Tears of the Kingdom? 1,000. So you're just gonna have to wait. Uh, anyways, eventually I will get to Tears of the Kingdom. So
Yeah, I'm interested to see what you think about the differences in the two games and the differences in the world. I seeing you go like immediately from Breath of the Wild into Tears of the Kingdom, I want to see like how that clicks for
yeah,
you.
yeah. Because I mean, I'm a pretty observant person. I
Mm-hmm.
see all of the little things that
Mm-hmm.
people often miss. So
Detail.
yeah,
You have an eye for detail.
yeah. I've also been playing Animal Crossing, of course. St. Patrick's Day was super fun. Um, I had my St. Patty's Day outfit on. It was really nice, and I gave everybody Shamrock shakes. It was good.
Oh,
Apple was wearing her apple hat today, which was adorable,
so
and I gave her a red snapper fish as a gift because she's very snappy and she likes red.
cute.
Um, I gave Cecilia a sofa the other day, and she gave me her photo.
Yes.
So we now have Cecilia's photo.
Congrats.
Yeah, it was a big thing. Cecilia is one of the OG villagers, and I
Mm-hmm.
think the only OG villager that I still have to get a photo of. So check that one off the list. I still have to get Annalise and Soleil,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I have Bangle's photo. I think I have everyone else. Oh, Quilson. I have to get Quilson's photo too.
Quilson.
Yeah.
Quilson's such a cutie.
Yeah. I did a little bit of swimming today. I found myself a Dungeness crab and some kind of octopus, rainbow octopus. I can't remember. But and I'm still doing construction on my island. So I've
Mm-hmm.
completely cleared out the space in front of the clothing shop. I'm think I'm gonna put in a sweatshop.
What a sweatshop, huh?
Yes, so I have all of the items now for my sweatshop, which is a team of garden gnomes, which will be working in behind of the clothing store, enclosed in fencing.
This is
Um,
funny.
and there's going to be sewing machines. There are going to be conveyor belts and boxes, clothing racks, and a small table with a coffee maker. um, yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm excited. And as soon as I got home, of course, Tuesday evening, that evening that I flew in, of course, I fired up American Truck Simulator. It was so funny because, like, the whole week we had been driving the I-10, and, like, that drive through the San Bernardino Valley is actually
Mm-hmm.
really kind of cool. Like, you go through the section with all the wind turbines and everything, and so I did that drive in ATS, and it was so funny because, like, literally hours earlier that day, I was on that highway driving it, and then I just, like, came home and
That's pretty cool.
played ATS and drove that highway again. But it was interesting because, like, I did a lot of the driving this time. Normally it's my partner that does a lot of the driving. And so it was kind of a cool feeling to see the road signs and where they are and what the
Yeah,
feel was like. Yeah, it's cool.
that is so neat.
Yeah. This weekend I plan to play some more Zelda. I probably want to finish out those quests, the side
Mm-hmm.
quests. And work to finishing that so that I can get the DLC. And yeah, I don't know what else I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll hop into some Citizen Sleeper, but I kind of have a busy day. I've got a housewarming to go to tomorrow, and then Sunday I'm gonna be at Carlo's, and I have a doctor's appointment, and so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Busy weekend.
What about you? What have you been up to for the last 2 weeks?
Well, let's see. I've played some Fallout 76, and we're getting near to the time of a new scoreboard and a new update, et cetera, et cetera. And I wanted to finish out this season's scoreboard before that happened. And recently there was a double score event, so that's a great time to hop on and clear it out. So I was in there, I was doing challenges, and I was in my little camp that I have next to. This isn't the camp that you're familiar with. This is a camp I built afterwards, near the White Spring train station specifically for convenience. I built there. And uh, one of the daily challenges was to build some floor decor, I think. So I was inside the train car where I live and just building some floor decor. And then I was scrapping it because I didn't need it there. And I scrapped the whole train car vendor. I scrapped my whole entire train car. And I just dropped like 2 feet to the ground and was standing there on this bare patch of dirt. And I was like, what have I done?
What happened to all the stuff in the train car?
It got put in storage. So it still exists, but I would have to individually place each item again, find it all in the menu and place it all again.
And that's not going to happen.
I was so frustrated. Why is that an option to just scrap your whole train car with everything in it? There should be an extra step before you scrap one of the prefab buildings. I just, ugh. I
Can
have been talking about the need to redo the camp because it's gotten to be a bit of a mess, and I guess now's as good a time as any. We're renovating, but
renovating. I want to play Fallout 76 with you. I should
yeah,
play
log
sometime
on.
soon.
It'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
I did finish the scoreboard, so that was good. I am still having inconvenient blue screen events, so
Oof.
that's less good.
Yeah.
But I did get through the scoreboard, and I need to hop on maybe this weekend and rebuild my camp and
You
deal
know
with
what
some
I was thinking about? Like,
storage issues.
do you maybe just have like a loose connection? Did you check?
I don't think so, but I could check.
Like, maybe you have a loose GPU connection or
It's
something.
worth checking. It's
Yeah.
worth checking. I can check.
Or a faulty cable.
Could be
Harder to check.
harder to
Harder to check.
diagnose. Yeah, harder to diagnose.
But I mean, if it was just something as simple as a loose connection, that would change everything
Hmm.
for you, right? Because
It
you'd be
would,
able to
yeah.
play without those blue screens.
It would be pretty exciting. I'm still playing Usagi Shima. That's the mobile game with the bunnies.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've dived back into that again, and I'm working on getting the final achievement, which is to achieve best friends with every bunny. So I've been working on that one, and I did play a little bit of Animal Crossing. I hopped on one day and did some flower control because they were getting out of control again. Um, and I'm so glad that the snow is gone from Animal Crossing. I realized that that was a large part of the reason why I wasn't playing. The snow was making me sad. So, really glad the snow is gone.
Oh.
And I did jump back into Cat and Ghostly Road that I talked about in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I had mentioned that I was pretty sure I had a game breaking bug, but it turns out I'm just an idiot. Um, there was something that I thought I needed to do to solve a problem. I looked it up online, confirmed that that was the solution, but it was not available for me. But it turns out I had another solution in my pockets. I was able to make a little feather duster out of some feathers that I had collected. I just had to combine them. And then I had a feather duster. So I did not have a game breaking bug. I was just a dummy. And I immediately jumped back into it and made some more progress. And I like this game more and more the more I play it. And I'm looking forward to finishing it. Hopefully, I'll have some time to spend with it soon.
Oh
That's my
man.
gameplay.
Wow. Um did you did you um participate in Pi Day for Animal Crossing?
I did order a pie day pie,
Well, I
and
wanted to
then I
say
also got one from you.
thank you for the pie because you sent one to
Yes.
me as
Mm-hmm.
well. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Pie day pies.
Mm-hmm. It was so funny because they showed up in the shop, right? And I was like, "Oh
Mm-hmm.
my god, when is Pi Day?" And of course, Pi Day is 3.14. Um but this was like February 26th when we had first landed in California.
Mm-hmm.
So I had those pies. I had 4 of them
You were
in
saving
in
them.
my inventory for like over 2 weeks.
I
Um
love it.
and
I
I was
love it.
playing like because we're in California and there's nothing else you can do in the
Mm-hmm.
evenings or in the morning. Like I was playing Animal Crossing every day for at least an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I had those friggin' pies
That
taking
is
up
so
space in my
funny.
pocket for 2 weeks. Like it was painful. Oh man, so good. What's
It's a
the
good time.
next? Is it Easter? Is there
Yeah, Bunny Day.
Bunny Day?
Bunny Day's a trip,
You
man.
know, Shalene, we are approaching year 1 in Animal Crossing for me. So
Ooh,
all of the
really?
events that are happening are going to start happening over again and there won't be any
Wow.
new ones.
That's exciting.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Bunny Day's a good time. I need to redecorate my rooms. I need to redecorate my living room. I still have the New Year's Eve party up in
Oh, I
there.
thought you were going to do Valentine's.
I was, and I never got around to it. So,
Oh. That's my favorite part of coming to your island is seeing the new room.
mhm. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to work on that so we can have an Animal Crossing night.
Yeah. You should hide eggs all over your island so that we
Oh,
can
that would
hunt
be
for
so
them.
much fun. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm gonna hide eggs.
uh, there's I actually just learned that there's an Easter event in Deep Rock Galactic where you hunt for
Ooh,
eggs and it's super
that's
cute.
fun.
Yeah.
I can hide Easter eggs in my Fallout camp too.
Oh, I love it. So cute. Anyways, I suppose that is a show for us. Don't forget, if you like the show and you want to drink some coffee while you're listening to the show, if you'd like to listen to it in the morning, or if you're one of those crazy people that drinks coffee before bed, you can head on over to oakandcrow.com and pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee blend, and $2 from every purchase of that blend goes to the Children's Miracle Network. You can send us some mail by posting in the Mail Stack channel in the Discord. Don't forget your screenshots and stories and your GameStack challenge submission for next week's show. Find us on socials at Twitter at We Just Love Games, Shalene at Shalene L, myself at Vendertron N. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/We Just Love Games, and facebook.com/group/We Just Love Games. And we live record the show 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on twitch.tv/We Just Love Games. We're also on YouTube, iTunes, iHeart, Apple, Google, and Spotify. Any other podcast platform that you can think of. Thank you all for listening. And Shalene, what is your last word for today?
The spice must flow.
Good night, everyone.